and their funds.
Any other views in terms of his view of the landscape right now for investing? You mentioned some of the major holdings in the media space and obviously MGM being a core holding. Any other areas that he's looking at as being interesting just for those who like to co-invest with people like him?
Yeah, he likes financial services companies a lot. He's been invested in Lazard, an investment bank, for about 15 years. Definitely likes private equity. They're obviously starting a private equity fund, which we wrote about themselves with Project Black. They're also invested in private equity firms like the Carlyle Group. They had KKR, another giant alternative asset manager, in their portfolios for a while that performed very well, and they recently sold out of that just because it got too big, and they generally don't like to have these larger cap companies that they think the market has kind of caught up to, been more efficient and are covered enough.
Let me ask about Project Black quickly. I know that you wrote about it, and please, I hope everybody sees the article and such, but that is the first time that there's been a very direct and concerted effort to address the income gap, the wealth gap with Black Americans and, sort of overall society. Talk a little bit about the genesis of that, and it's a major fund and a major holding, clearly, for Ariel.
Yeah, it's a $1.45 billion private equity fund, a lot larger than most first-time funds that a firm would raise. It really sprung out of all the reckoning in 2020 that happened after the murder of George Floyd. And, Mellody, Hobson obviously is connected to so many titans of Wall Street, and including Jamie Dimon. She's on the JP Morgan board.
Yep.
And, he called her to just kind of brainstorm for ideas about, what, he wanted JP Morgan to partner with some firms like Ariel or just get her, pick her brain about what to do about, investing more in elevating Black entrepreneurs, Black businesses. And she kind of took that on and wrote this memo to him, and he was sold about not just access to capital for Black business owners, but access to customers. And so that's something we wrote a lot about, and they talk a lot about in this launch of this fund. And they're investing in middle market businesses with revenues between $100 million and $1 billion that can then be vendors as really business to business vendors for large S&P 500 companies, the biggest companies in the world. The first investment they made is Sorensen, a company that's makes products, hearing aids for the deaf and hard of hearing, and has already started partnerships with some large companies for their employees.
And their goal, it's interesting because really the private equity model is to have operating companies, and that's where their board experience really, I'm sure, is very valuable. And it really is also about nurturing this new generation of management talent too, isn't it?
Yeah, and something they do is, when they buy a company, sometimes it's not already run by a Black or Latino CEO or owner. They'll install new management teams. They talk about, whenever an executive says, well, we try to hire underrepresented
it's a pipeline,
but we can't find the talent, but they're in that world every day. They with the CEO who Mellody Hobson asked to run Ariel Alternatives Project Black, Les Brun, who has been in private equity for a long time at Hamilton Lane Advisors. He knows a lot of those people too that are in the pipeline that they think are great choices to run these businesses. And so that's something that they think they have kind of a distinct kind of advantage compared to people that just shrug their shoulders and think there's nothing they can do.
Very powerful. And John Rogers is not a man who seeks the spotlight, but certainly somebody very respected on Wall Street. So I guess watch this space. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Diane.